Hello, everybody, and welcome to Design and Adorn. Our chainmail demo today, the Mobius rings. As usual, I am here to demonstrate for you. This is Richard with Design and Adorn Beading Studio. I keep looking down at my tools, so let's get started here. I'll talk a little bit about the tools while people have the opportunity to join me. The first tool that you have are your pliers. There are several different pliers that you can use when doing chainmail. My personal preference is one square nose or flat nose plier and one bent chain nose plier. The way that you can tell that it's a bent chain nose is it looks just like a chain nose, comes to a sharp point, but it has this nice bend in it that lets me get a good grip on jump rings when I go to open and close them. You can see where I can cover a larger portion of the jump ring. Always make sure if you're using the bent nose that you are pointing the tip away. With the flat nose, it doesn't make as big of a difference. It's got this nice wide flat portion for getting a grip on it. It gives you a good amount of contact. Now you want that contact in order to make sure that you can go ahead and open and close and manipulate the jump rings. The next tool that I have here is my favorite teaching aid. It is the sharp nose tweezer. Look at how sharp that point is. It is very sharp. I have accidentally stabbed myself with them in the past, so do be careful when using them. But I like to use these when I am teaching chainmail. Beginners are great for using them in order to manipulate the jump rings, hold things in place. Now, I like to start out with just going over the basics, how you open and close a jump ring. When you get your jump rings, you will notice that they have a sort of split in the middle of them. This is a byproduct of how the jump ring is manufactured. It is made by taking a coil of wire and just sawing right down the coil. So, to open a jump ring, you are going to take it on either side of that split using your pliers. I always recommend holding one plier steady and moving it with your other hand. So in this case, I am going to keep my left hand steady and I am going to move it with my right. And it doesn't have to be open that far for doing a Mobius. Just a little bit open is plenty. When you are doing, or after you have opened a couple of your jump rings, you want to open the blue ones, the pink ones, and the purple ones if you have the kits that you are following along with. And then take it both sides of the slit and open it up. After you have opened the jump rings, pick out any one jump ring and you're going to close it. To close a jump ring is the reverse. You take it, you grab it on either side of the split, and you just hold with one hand, move with the other, slowly closing it, swinging it back and forth. I don't know if you can hear that little popping noise, but you always overshoot it a little bit so that you're breaking the tension in the wire that was used to make the jump ring. And if you take a look, you can see I lift it out and it springs right back. That's that tension I was talking about. Now, a couple of common errors that people encounter when they are opening and closing jump rings is they go ahead, they open it, and they open it too far. Opening it that wide is just unnecessary. It is too far. It does not benefit you in any way, and it'll deform the ring when you go to close it. The next thing is when they go ahead and close it, they're closing, and boom, they can't get it to move. Why won't it go past? Well, if you take a look, this is of course an exaggeration, but you can see here that our wire is overlapping itself. There is no way for it to pass through itself, therefore it stops. To amend that, we reopen it, and then we go back and close it again. So other times, when people are closing it, you close it, and you're left with this gap here. The gap, depending upon the size of rings, can be a non-issue. You can come back and fix them later. Or if you really want to get them or you need to be perfect your first time, you take it and you just wiggle it back and forth until, boom, you've got it lined up. Very good. That is my sacrificial demonstration ring. So to start out with, we open up a blue, a pink, and I am closing the purple rings. So I take my purple rings on either side and I close it back up, swinging it back and forth a little bit. Once I get there, and I just nudge it. Nudge it, nudge it, nudge it. There we go. After you have your one closed ring, now the principle of the Mobius is that each ring will overlap all the other rings. So no one ring is on top, no one ring is on the bottom. And you can do Mobius counts with different counts. So we start out with our purple ring. We slide a pink ring onto the purple ring. If you're working with the other colorway, you've got blue, purple, and green. So you just substitute in whichever colors you want to work with. We take our pink ring, we grab it on either side of the ring, and we bring it closed. Pass it back and forth. You can see how I am wiggling it, wiggling it. You might have heard that little popping noise. That popping noise is a good sign. It means that I've gotten it nice and closed and tight. Next, we take the blue ring and we go through the purple and the pink ring. Notice how I overlap them. You can see here there are 3 holes to choose from, and I slide it until that middle hole is the largest it can be. Once I do that, I go ahead and overlap it, and it doesn't make a difference if the pink ring is on top or if the pink ring is on the bottom. I don't know if you noticed, I just flip it up, down, does not matter. I take the blue ring, I go through the pink and the purple ring, just let them dangle there, grab it on either side, and I bring it closed. Close, close, closed, and boom, there we go. Whoop, that one is just a little smidge open, and you can see I go ahead and realigned it, and now it is closed. So this is a 3-ring Mobius. The 3-ring Mobius is the smallest count that you can do with a Mobius. You cannot do a 2-ring Mobius. And you can tell that everything is lined up because when I look at them from the side, you've got your blue ring, your pink ring, your purple ring, and they step out from one another, sort of like stairs. Now, if they weren't aligned right, you would see something like this, where the purple ring, the blue ring, and then the pink ring, and it steps in and back out. With 1, 2, 3, all my rings are aligned. I just set them to the side and I move to my next one. Again, I'm starting out with the purple ring. I pick up the pink ring and I go through the purple ring, close it up, swing it back and forth just a little bit. Next, I pick up the blue ring. I go through both the pink and the purple ring. And then I close that ring. 1 and 2, pop, pop, whoop, pop, pop. There we go. Get it all lined up. Feel it, make sure it is nice and perfect. And I set it down. 1, 2, 3 rings. Set them down. You can see this really lovely Mobius pattern taking place. When linking 2 Mobiuses together, it is very simple. You use 1 ring or 2 rings, it does not make a difference. But you take 1 Mobius link, put it on to your new jump ring. These are usually the smaller jump rings. You take a second link, you put that onto the jump ring. So now you've got Mobius 1, Mobius number 2. They're both on the same jump ring. And and you close that jump ring up. Next, I am going to go ahead and demonstrate a 5-ring Mobius. A 5-ring Mobius is done the same way that you do a 3-ring Mobius, but it has an added challenge. The additional challenge is after you've done your first 3 rings, it does matter the way your rings lay. There are a couple of common errors. I'll talk about those errors later on, assuming that the video doesn't cut out. The first step in making the 5-ring Mobius, though, you start out with 1 closed ring. You've got your 4 open rings. You link 1 ring through the closed ring. In this case, I am working with all the same color, and you can probably hear that nice popping noise. This bronze has a much louder pop to it than the aluminum does. 1 ring overlaps the first ring. You take your second ring. You can see how my 2 rings are overlapping. And I go through the 2 rings, let them hang, and I close my 3rd ring. With a pop, pop, wiggle it back and forth. Perfect. Next, I take a close look at what direction I need my 3rd ring to lay. It can either lay on top of the other rings or on the bottom of the other rings. Now, the one thing that does matter here is it has to lay in the same direction that the other rings are going. Notice how ring 1 is the furthest out. Ring 2 is the second furthest out. Ring 3 needs to be the third furthest out. If ring 3 is sitting like this, then that is incorrect. And you'll notice how I'm looking at it from the side. I'm not looking at it from above. If you look at it from above, it is easy to be mistaken about what ring is actually sitting where. But if you look at it from the side, you can make it into this nice twist. Those of you who have done twisted cable chain, you might recognize this as a starting line up for the crystal, or for the twisted cable chain. With my 3 rings now in place, 1, 2, 3, I take a 4th ring. I slide it through all 3 rings. You can see right here, I've just gone straight on through, and then I let the 3 rings hang, and I close it. And then again, I take all 4 rings now. Ring number 1, ring number 2, ring number 3, ring number 4. Now, if you drop your piece and you pick it up, it does not matter which rings were ring number 1, 2, 3, and 4. All that matters is that they are lining up in this nice smooth spiral. If they're lining up like this, that's not a nice smooth spiral. If they're lining up where one of them is off with the others, that is also not a nice smooth spiral. And you can even take the first one and make it the 4th. And you can just keep doing this all day long. It's very meditative, a little bit relaxing. You could even take the first 2, slide them down. But as you're looking at it, with your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rings, I usually like to take it once I've confirmed everything is in the right place, and I just smoosh them all together so that now they are all as one. It just maximizes the size of the hole in the middle that I have to go through. But once I've got that done, I've now got my 4 rings. I take my 5th ring, I go through that larger hole in the center, and I take it and I close it up. 1, 2, 3, and there we go. It's all nice and closed. I take a look at my new ring, and I make sure I pop everything out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and everything is lining up all nicely. It's got that nice little overlap to it. Nothing is sitting weird. Nothing is sitting funny. Nothing is misaligned in weird ways. So, very good. That is the 5-ring Mobius. Now you can keep going. You don't have to stop at 5 rings. You can keep going up to as many rings as you can fill the rings with. At some point, you'll get to the place where you won't be able to get anything through the center of the ring. At that point, you have a Mobius ball. I'm not going to go all the way up to making a Mobius ball here, but be aware, once you do that, you can't really link it to something else. So I decided I'd just go up through the 5-ring Mobius. Now, 2 common errors that can happen when you're doing a Mobius. If, as you're going along, you've added ring number 1, ring number 2, ring number 3, so you can see how they're all nicely lined up, but then you went ring number 4, and you can see on ring number 4, whoops, you weren't paying close attention, and ring number 4 is underneath rather than laying in that nice neat row. So when you did that, you went straight through, and now your rings look like this. They're crisscrossing in funny directions. You can see here, it gives you that weird sort of, doesn't lay nice and spiraled. I'll put it side by side. You can see it kind of juts in funny directions, and it wants to spread itself out a little bit. And that's because you've got one Mobius chain and a different Mobius chain trying to link through it. And it's just not going to lay right. The way we fix that is you figure out which are the offending rings, which rings are not where they belong. You open up one, sometimes it would need to be more, of the offending rings. You take it, you realign everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Everything is all lined up. And you go right through it, closing that ring. Whoop, a little nudge there. Not sure why I'm trying to make this perfect. It's not going to go anywhere except for being disassembled later. Next, the other common mistake is you went ahead, you did ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, ring 4. But then when you went to go through to add ring number 5, you let ring number 1 and 2 separate from ring number 4 and 5, and you went through all of them, and now it lays really funky. And you can see how it's got this sort of jutting off in a different direction look to it. Again, the way we fix this, you can see once you lay it next to everything else, it really doesn't want to lay flat. So, if you can find the offending ring, the one that sits off in its own direction, you can open that ring, pop 1, 2, there it comes off, and once we do that, we can check our other rings. Ring number 1, ring number 2, ring number 3, ring number 4, they all line up nice and smooth. And then we go through it with our 5th ring, making sure that everything is hanging off of it, and boom, we've got ourselves, the Mobius has been fixed. Finally, like I said earlier, for linking 2 Mobiuses together, you just take a open ring, you slide on Mobius number 1, you slide on Mobius number 2. You can see these 5-ring Mobiuses go on without a hitch. You close up that ring. You got the first one. Now, as a little bit of a artistic thing, you don't have to do it with just one ring. You can link them together with 2 rings. It makes it just a little bit stronger, but it also can help with the weight of a piece. And by weight, I mean design weight, not the actual weight of it. Notice now, with the 2 rings, It makes it a little bit tighter, a little bit denser, but it has a little bit of a different aesthetic. Now, we've got several kits available that utilize this technique. The Mobius is one of my favorites for those of you who know about my Mobius Madness design, which is a lot of fun. The kits that we have available are our 3-color Mobius chains. These are available for sale on our website. They are a lot of fun. You've got these fun, funky colors. You'll notice that this kit here with the pink, the blue, and the purple is the colors that I demonstrated with. We also have a green, dark blue, and dark purple that intermingles with a light green, light blue, and light purple. These kits are both available. They're absolute beginners, very easy. You cannot mess up the Mobius in it because a 3-ring Mobius can either be done clockwise or counterclockwise. It does not matter. And it's that 3rd ring that decides what direction your Mobius is sitting in. In addition to that, we have the silver Mobius with the 1, 2, 3 rings as well. This one's a little bit more challenging than the larger Mobius because the rings are a little bit smaller. But it is also a beginner course. It is really fun. It looks great, feels great. These are incredibly lightweight bracelets. The 3rd type of kit that we have available is called the In Spiral. This one is my personal favorite. I love that hot pink and black color scheme that it's got going. The In Spiral is considered still a basic course because it is just the Mobius, but this is a 10-count Mobius. So in each one of these little Mobiuses are not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not even 9, but 10 rings all linking together. And it just creates this really stunning bauble here. In addition to that, it's got these beautiful glass rings. It is very stunning, a lot of fun to do. It is a great challenge for someone who is a beginner and wants to try to take it up to the next level. You do not need to do it with all 10 rings. You could set aside and do it with just 6 rings or 7 rings or 5 rings. It is whatever your heart's desire and whatever you feel comfortable doing. And it comes in 3 beautiful colors. We've got this wonderful pink and black that I love. This rich gold and black. It's sort of a coppery gold tone. I don't know how well this shows up in our lighting. This too is available on our website. And we have the turquoise and white. Turquoise is one of my all-time favorite colors. Back when I was a little kid, my first car that I owned, a little kid his first car. But it was a beautiful color of turquoise. It was, in fact, the same color. And I remember how much I loved that color of the car. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you have fun going out there and doing chainmail as we are stuck inside all the time now. It is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And I hope to see you again later, next time I do a demo. Have a good day.